Hi and welcome to another Huddle Breakdown Extra Time. I'm your host Martin Murphy and joined as ever by James and by Alan. How are you guys?
Yeah, all right. Got out of Rossington alive, which most people do actually. People of Rossington are very nice. Female football team not so much, but yeah, the people are lovely.
And what was the final result, Alan, for anybody who was interested? Because I know I certainly was when I was listening to you.
Yeah, but no, my daughter's team, they lost 3-0, which basically means they win the league, and our lot finished second.
Right.
It was deserved. They were a much better team, if I'm honest. It was obvious, really. So yeah, but a good campaign, a good season.
Looked a good strong card that you were in there as well. Not only comfortable, but pretty secure, just in case anybody was trying to have a bit of a pop there. I thought, good, fair play to you.
Sensible family car.
Yes.
It's built for taking lots of footballers and runners and things like that, rather than proposing about in places like Rossington.
we all reached that stage in our lives. I had that quite a few years ago. Yes. And what about yourself, James?
I'm good. I just had a tremendous lunch. My wife's aunt is visiting. She's in town, and she's Peruvian, authentically Peruvian, and makes authentic Peruvian food. So I just had a wonderful Peruvian lunch.
Nice.
So I feel even more bloated than usual with a big crap-eating grin on my face. Not that the food was crap. The food was delightful.
You look very relaxed and happy, which is lovely to see, I would say. So, yeah.
Well, it's going to be close to 30 degrees here today. So we are in full bloom for spring. So it's been great.
So is the yard work in the back burner?
What's that?
Is the yard work in the back burner now then?
I do that in the morning now. It starts to get too hot. Yeah. So the problem is you got to mow like every 3 days. So
get up at 5, James. Yeah, before it gets hot. Yeah.
Well, I'm already up at that hour to pee. Enlarged prostate these days.
So Martin, the only reason he looks happy is because Celtic haven't actually won anything yet. As soon as the league secured, he'll go back to his miserable bored state. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, it's so tedious.
Yeah.
I have to say as well, James, and this is really on me. I didn't realise how bitter and what a long memory I have when you mentioned the word "mo" there as well. I immediately felt my heart going, Mo. So long memory, I'm afraid. Still very bitter about it all those years ago, 1989.
Some things are lifelong, right?
They are, my friend. Yeah, some things are just it's the unforgiven, isn't it? It's the unforgiven. Well, quite a lot to get through again in extra time as ever. So I think we'll maybe start off just if there's any final comments about the St Johnstone victory. I was at the game and what a wonderful day it was. Absolutely terrific. We'll then maybe consider going ahead to the Dundee United match, looking to clinch our 55th league. And no combined histories or buying histories for us. We've achieved those 55 on our own merits.
Hopefully, Will, don't count your chickens before they're hatched, Martin.
This is one occasion. Well, maybe not at the weekend, but it's there. It's done and dusted. And
that's what James has been saying from December, remember? To be fair.
I'm just saying mathematically. How dare you?
I was never very good at math, so that's fair.
I'm surprised he doesn't start every show with a chorus of "Here we go, 10 in a row." That'd be very on brand with James's new confident model,
We're on our way. This will be the 4th. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah. And obviously, after the result at the weekend as well, going on to look ahead to the trebles and all the rest of it. Potentially a hard game ahead, of course, in the final. And I think very importantly for us as well, we invited our subscribers to nominate their player of the season. So look forward very much to discussing that in a little bit more depth. And the very popular Poetry Corner, a couple of poems coming up, folks, so if you're not subscribing, get on it. If you've got a heart and a soul, get on it. You'll enjoy it. So,
or even the black heart with some of us, right?
Yes, fair enough. Yeah, absolutely. Fair enough with that. But if we could maybe start off with the St Johnstone match at Hampden. As I say, you guys covered it very well as ever with Laura, so we won't go into it in any depth. As I say, I had a a great time there. You know, it was a really, really one of my highlights of the season, actually. Really enjoyed it, especially that run up, that blast just before half time, about 12-minute blast of goals there. And of course, young Dallas getting involved as well later with his VAR shenanigans. But enough of that. James, did you have any further thoughts on the match now you've had a wee bit more time to think about it?
Yeah, I just wanted to circle back on some evidence. We talked about the thesis coming out of the Perth game, that the pitch had played a material role not only in how the game unfolded, but possibly, and again, this was the theory, that St. Johnstone had actually adjusted their tactics. You know, it kind of went in, had pie on my face with the expectation of how the game was going to play out, played out horribly different and wrong.
You weren't alone. You weren't alone.
Well, and so in doing the autopsy of the game, interesting, if you note the two games, St. Johnstone's rate of passes, meaning how often they were passing, was about 15% higher in the cup game, which again would more possession centric, and their long pass rate. So the percentage of the passes that they played that they went long on was down by a third. So they were up in the kind of normal traditional long ball, like when we play St. Mirren. St. Mirren's a very direct long ball team. And we'll get into this a little bit when we preview Dundee.
Dundee United,
I'm sorry, Dundee United. There I go again.
Yeah, we're not on Sky.
When we preview the Dundee United game, is St. Johnstone have been kind of abnormally not playing like a team that's about to get relegated potentially. A quick preview. I'll dedicate that to Mr. Gronemaker on throw-ins. So I have a whole thing on throw-ins I'll go through on what Dundee United is doing. But so they went long, and that's not normal for them this season. They were well above their normal kind of long pass rate for this season. So I think, we've got pretty good evidence at this point on that the theory was probably a pretty good one. And as we saw on the weekend, like we just completely destroyed their game plan, which was more in line with how we had previewed the game in Perth, with the expectation that they would play the way that they did on the weekend. So just wanted to circle back with that on a little bit of evidence, because it was confirmatory, I think, for what we talked about on Tuesday with Laura.
Excellent. And Alan?
Yeah, no, just to put some kind of data meat on those bones, really, as we got to be a little bit on brand, is that I think when did Valkyrie come in? He wasn't manager in the 6-0 game, was he?
He was in October, I think.
Yeah, so he missed the 6-0 game. So basically, we play St. Johnstone in December, right? And he's the first time Valakari's played against Celtic as a manager. And at Celtic Park, they completed 209 passes in total, and they generated XG of 0.07, right? And then you had the game in April that we lost, and they completed 72 passes and generated XG of 0.68. It's not amazing, but he's obviously learned his lesson that we can't play like we did at Celtic Park and just get, they couldn't get out their own half, basically. I think most of those 200 odd passes were in their own half. They were forced in April to play a certain way because of the pitch, as James said, and they won the game without playing any football as we would know it at all. and then Hampden was kind of halfway. He completed 128 passes, so it's kind of halfway between the two, and completed about 0.12 XG, so a bit better than nearly double what they did in the 4-0, but significantly less than when they beat us. And they play this sort of hybrid game of, well, we'll try and pass where we can, but we'll still go longer than we normally do. So he's clearly adjusting Valakari, which is good. That's a good sign for them. And I agree with James that I think they might run out of time. That's the thing. Yeah. But as you know, there are, as I've said for a number of weeks now, there are really 4 clubs at the bottom that you couldn't. They're wafer thin, the differences between them and underlying metrics. But unfortunately, St. Johnstone 5 points adrift, because that's what football's like. And so they may run out of time, but they're by no means.
We hope you enjoyed this free preview from all of us here at the Huddle Breakdown. We know you have options and we really appreciate you tuning in. To hear the rest of this episode and for much more Huddle Breakdown content, head on over to www.huddlebreakdown.com. We hope you consider subscribing. Thank you.